What is going on, you guys? It is that time again for another player error project. This time we're going to be doing Mr. Don Maynard, wide receiver for the New York Jets. Way back in the day. A lot of you are probably saying I have no freaking clue who that is, and that is fine. He was actually Joe Namath's #1 wide receiver for majority of his career. Drafted in 1957 in the 9th round. And then I was looking at, there's some interesting facts here. I was looking at his career history and different teams he's played on, and it said the New York Giants for a year, and then this next one really had piqued my interest. The Hamilton Tiger Cats. That's my buddy Canadian Mike always talks about the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he lives in Hamilton, up in Canada. And then from there, he went to the Jets, or the New York Titans, as they were called when he first got there, from 1960 to 1972. And then the St. Louis Cardinals. Back in the day, the Arizona Cardinals were up there. And then the Los Angeles Rams. And I thought this one was cool as well. The Houston Texans / the Shreveport Steamers in 1974. So that's not the Houston Texans that you know today. But that was another team at another time. And the Shreveport Steamers, don't be confused with the Boston Steamer. That's something totally different. Super Bowl champion in Super Bowl III, 4-time AFL All-Star, AFL All-Time Team, and the New York Jets also retired his number 13 jersey. So I pieced this player error project together through the years. This wasn't where I sent it all in and it all came back. So he is a really good TTMer. He is 86 years old, so he's getting up there in age. I don't have his address handy, but if memory serves me right, I think he lives in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So that should be able to help you out if you want to get the address. So we'll start things off with his 1961 Topps. He also has a 1961 Fleer. So he has 2 rookie cards, but you know, in the player error projects, I try to get with Topps as much as possible. And then moving on, his next 2 years are actually both Philadelphia. And if you see at the bottom, it's the New York Titans. So really cool. These Philadelphia cards are not cheap. They're not super expensive or anything, but $30, $40 for a good example. Moving on to a 1964, the 1965 Tall Boy, which a lot of you might recognize this card design. This is also Joe Namath's rookie year, the 1965 Topps, and that particular card is not cheap. The Joe Namath. I think you can get a PSA 1 for around $1,500. Moving on down the line, I have some with the Hall of Fame inscription, some without. Man, that is a beautiful card. Some in blue, some in black. But I've been sending him TTMs, I mean, I don't know, for the better part of 6 or 7 years. So doing 1 or 2 at a time every 6 months, 7 months. Not really bothering him. Sending a donation, 1970 Topps here. But I highly suggest, if you're going to send him, you might want to do it sooner than later. Like I said, he is 86 years old. And this is the last card. So that is Mr. Don Maynard. That's the 73 Topps. Really cool. I think a lot of these NFL player error projects are really neat. I've heard from a couple of you that I do these player error projects of Hall of Famers you've never heard of. And I think that's really cool. In baseball, when you start talking about Hall of Famers that your average collector hasn't heard of, it's the guys in the pre-war era, you know, not the guys from, I would say, 1950 to now even. But there's a ton of football players from the 60s and 70s, even a couple from the 80s that the average NFL fan hasn't heard of. So until next time, adios, be safe, bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Doodles.